Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Daily Red Devil for all of your latest Manchester United transfer news and talk. Ignore my little stretch there at the beginning of the video. I hope everyone is doing well on this Monday morning. We have lots and lots to get into on the show today. But before we do that, I've got one small favour to ask for you. If you are watching for the first time today, please do subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. We are now only 2 subscribers away from 42,000. So please go and subscribe. Let's try and hit that next milestone. And be sure to like the video as well. We've set a likes target of 1,000 for today's video. On the show this morning, we're going to be talking about Viktor Gyökeres. We're going to be talking about Donnarumma. We're also going to be talking about Jadon Sancho, Marcus Rashford, Anthony. So much to get into, including also Garnacho as well. So yeah, lots and lots to get into on the show today. But as always, I like to try and start my shows off by giving you, the community, a chance to have a say on Manchester United. So the question I've got for you this morning is in relation to Viktor Gyökeres. Do we think Viktor Gyökeres, what do they call him? Viktor Gyökeres? Do we think Viktor Gyökeres is the man to lead the attack for Manchester United? It's a very, very simple question. I want to get your thoughts on this in the comment section below. Is he the right profile? Is there any doubts about him? Some rival fans seem to say that, I don't understand this narrative. Rival fans seem to be saying that they think he'll flop in the Premier League. I mean, what's that based on? Why? He's got the most goals out of any player in the whole of Europe. I think he has 54 goals in all competitions. They say, oh, well, he flopped in the Championship. I think he scored 27 goals in the Championship in his last season. I don't understand this narrative. But anyway, I want to get your thoughts. Do we think Viktor Gyökeres will be a success at Manchester United? We are going to get a little poll running. So if you are watching the stream live, which some of you I can see are, I can see Fred in the chat. I can see, who else is in the chat this morning? I can see Breaking News. I can see Ellen. I can see all the regulars. We are going to do a poll. The question is going to be simple. Is Gyökeres the right man to lead United's attack next season? So that will be the question imposed to you all this morning. Get in the comment section, answer that question for me, have your say. I read through all the comments. I love to see what you guys have to say, so make sure you get involved. Right, let's bring you the news then. So the news this morning on Viktor Gyökeres is, actually before we do that, I want to say congratulations to Bruno Fernandes and Diogo Dalot for winning the Nations League last night. I didn't even know it was on, to be honest. I was out for dinner. I'm on holiday at the moment in Croatia. I was out for dinner, went to a restaurant, and there was football on. And I was like, football? I'm going to see if I can shut this door. 1 second. There's a really creaky door here. It's quite annoying. There you go. The door has been shut. Yeah, so I was out for dinner last night, and there was football on. I was like, football? I thought football had finished. And it was obviously the Nations League final. Portugal won. So congratulations to Portugal. Congratulations to Diogo Dalot and Bruno. And obviously Ronaldo as well. But anyway, let's bring you the news. We're going to talk about Gyökeres. So, this is coming out from Fabrizio. Fabrizio is reporting this morning that Manchester United have now held more contact with all parties involved in the Gyökeres deal. Apparently this happened this week, so in the last couple of days. He says they've spoke to them to understand how the situation is developing. They remain in the race. Very interesting there. He then goes on to say as well that United's ability to buy Gyökeres waits on the exits of Garnacho, Rashford and Sancho. All 3 of those players, I think, will leave. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. And then he goes on to say that the interest in Gyökeres remains strong. I honestly think we have a pretty clear run at Gyökeres here. Chelsea don't seem interested for whatever reason. They've got Liam Delap. They don't want him. Arsenal are going to sign Benjamin Sesko. Liverpool, I don't know what Liverpool are doing, to be honest, but it doesn't look like they want Gyökeres. Oh, gosh. If Liverpool wanted Gyökeres, they would have signed him by now. We know that Liverpool are usually pretty aggressive in the transfer window. They've already got Frimpong. They're putting in 150 million euros bids for Florian Wirtz. If they wanted Gyökeres, they would have bought him by now. So I don't think he's going to there. Newcastle don't need him. They've got Isak. Tottenham don't need him. They've got Dominic Solanke. Barcelona's president's already come out saying that they don't need him. There isn't really anybody else interested at the moment. Obviously, things can change very, very quickly. You know, another team might come in for him. But at the moment, we do have a bit of a clear run at Gyökeres, obviously because of Arsenal, Chelsea, etc., all having already got strikers. So I think there's a real opportunity to be had here, and obviously the fact that Fabrizio is reporting this morning that Manchester United have held new talks with Sporting Lisbon and Gyökeres' agent this week. As in, when I say this week, I mean like the week that's just happened. So over the last couple of days, they've met, they've discussed terms with a view to put in a bid effectively. So very, very positive. Obviously, the slight issue that Manchester United have is the release clause. So Viktor Gyökeres has a release clause of 100 million euros, which is about 70 million pounds, roughly, somewhere around that. I think it's 80 actually. 80 million pounds, let's say. Apparently Sporting Lisbon are willing to negotiate on that fee though, so there is an understanding between Sporting Lisbon and Manchester United that a deal could be agreed for around 60 million pounds, which is about 80 million euros. So there is still some work to be done because obviously when there's a release clause, you go to the club, you say, we're triggering the release clause and there's nothing they can do about it. Like with Matheus Cunha, right? We found out that we wanted Matheus Cunha on the Monday, and by the Tuesday we had the here we go because there was a release clause there. We went to them, we said, here's the money for the release clause. We're going to give it to you in 3 instalments. Is that okay? Yes. Okay, great. Deal done. No negotiations. No, we want more money. We want this. We want that. It's like you have a release clause in your contract. We're going to pay it. Thank you very much. So with Gyökeres, obviously we do have that release clause there. But the problem is we don't want to pay that release clause, which is fine. I think 100 million euros would be absolutely ridiculous. There is no way on earth we should be paying 100 million euros for Viktor Gyökeres, not a hope in hell. There is also some stories this morning, again from Fabrizio, saying that apparently Ruben Amorim sees him as the #1 target, which I think is kind of obvious. I mean, that's not really new news. We know that Ruben Amorim likes Gyökeres. We know that Ruben Amorim gave Gyökeres his first chance at kind of a big club, if you like, when he brought him in from Coventry. Was it 3-4 years ago he signed him? Obviously, he was previously playing for Coventry in the Championship here in England, and he then got his big money move over to. Would you say it's a big money move? I don't know. Call it what you want. Maybe it's not a big money move, but it was a step up going from the Championship to playing in the Champions League for Sporting Lisbon. So, he's already given him that big opportunity, and he's proven him right. He has got a lot of experience though, guys. He's played for Swansea before. He's played for Brighton before. He's played in lots of European leagues across, across different places. If you look at the odds this morning, the current rumours around Viktor Gyökeres, at the moment it seems like Manchester United are the favourites at the moment, but obviously that can change very, very quickly. And I think one thing we have to really, really pay some attention on is Saudi. And the reason I say this is Osimhen has apparently rejected Saudi's last bid. So Osimhen is not going to Saudi anymore apparently, which means that the Saudi clubs will be looking, specifically Al Hilal, Al Ittihad, the big clubs in Saudi are going to be looking for a striker, and obviously Gyökeres fits that profile. So that's maybe one of the concerns we have to be worried about, is that maybe a Saudi club come in for him at the last minute, and they can offer crazy money. They'll probably pay the release clause. They'll give him probably $1 million a week in wages. I would hope that he would not do it, but obviously we don't know. You never know what people's motivations are, do you? I would hope that he would say no, but yeah. I can see someone in the chat talking about Andreas Pereira. Yes, I did want to talk about this. So it's maybe not the most exciting bit of news, but we are going to get some money from Andreas Pereira leaving Fulham. So when we sold Andreas Pereira to Fulham, we put in a sell-on clause. His deal with Fulham expires next summer, and Fulham are now on the brink of selling him. Manchester United will receive, I think it's 25% of any potential fee. So if he goes for 10 million, we'll get 2.5. If he goes for 20 million, we'd get 5, etc. So that's a little bit of money there for us, which is decent. It's the same with that other player we mentioned yesterday. Is it Maxi Odiele. He only played a couple of games for Man United in the pre-season tour last year, came through the youth academy, got a permanent deal to Warsaw in the Polish league, but he's now left there for €6 million, and again Man United had a sell-on clause. So there's a couple of these deals doing us a bit of favour here. Obviously the same with Alvaro Fernandez moving from Benfica to Real Madrid. We're going to pick up some money for that. So yeah, quite positive in that sense. We are cashing in a little bit of money here and there. So yeah, that's decent. I'm happy about that. Right, what else have we got? We've got over 400 people watching the video today, guys, which is absolutely amazing. If you can all do me a favour, make sure to like today's video. Let's try and get to let's try and get to 5. What should we try and get to? Let's try and get to 1,000 likes on the video. Everyone who's watching right now, stop what you're doing and give the video a like. And if you are watching for the first time, please do subscribe as well. We are already 2 subscribers away from 42,000, which is an amazing achievement. So please go and subscribe. Let's get to 42,000. Right, cracking on with the rest of the news. We've spoke about Gyökeres, we've spoke about Andres Pereira. We are now going to talk about Jadon Sancho. So the news on Sancho this morning, well, effectively multiple clubs are interested in Jadon Sancho. Sky Sports are reporting this morning that Dortmund have apparently been in contact with Manchester United to be kept up to date with what's going on with Sancho, as they're interested in signing him. I mean, that's all good and well, but we know how Dortmund operate. They'll offer us a loan on deadline day and we'll probably accept it. So for me, that doesn't excite me. There is another story here saying that apparently Al Hilal have approached Manchester United, obviously the Saudi team, to sign Jadon Sancho. I mean, if that happens, it would be amazing. Jadon Sancho is clearly money motivated. That's fair to say, right? He was at Chelsea. He just won a European title, sorry. He's going to have Champions League football next season. He was playing well for them. The fans liked him. And he said, I don't want to stay, because they weren't willing to pay him 250k a week. They were only willing to give him, I say only, they were only willing to give him 150k a week. And he said, no, I don't want to do that. I'm leaving. I mean, that just shows the type of character he is, doesn't it? And it shows how much of a correct decision Erik ten Hag made to exile him from the squad. When you have a player who fell out with the manager, has gone on various different loans, he finally found a club where the fans loved him, wanted him to stay, and he wins titles with them, and he says, no, I want more money. I mean, he literally is just money motivated. There's no other way of explaining it, is there? So, yeah, Jadon Sancho with Manchester United has no future for me. His time here is done. I think we could all agree on that, right? His future is not here. If Al Hilal come in for him, great. I mean, if he goes to Al Hilal, that would be amazing for us, wouldn't it? Because we'd probably get 30, 40 million up front. Remember the Saudi clubs? They don't do instalments. They pay it all in cash. So if we sold him to Saudi, we would get 30, 40 million in cash in one go. And he'd probably get, what, $500,000 a week in wages? You know, he'd get some huge wages. I still think, though, unfortunately, this is probably not the news that you're all hoping for, but my opinion on the situation is he's got 1 year left on his contract. I personally think he's going to come back to Manchester United, which is already confirmed, and he's going to run down that deal. And I think in 12 months' time, he'll leave on a free, and he'll just go wherever is going to pay him the most amount of money. It's as simple as that. I don't think he'll leave this summer. And I know that's frustrating, but yeah. Somebody in the chat says, have you got any updates on the Mbuemo deal? The Mbuemo deal is just a matter of when, not if, my friend. It's a matter of when, not if. I think this week, I would say, we'll get a here we go, probably. It's hard to predict, you know. It's, again, because he doesn't have a release clause, because he doesn't have a release clause, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult. It's going to make it a little bit more long-winded. Brentford will always say, we don't want to sell. You know, that will be their narrative. We don't want to sell our best player. So, yeah. Good morning to Groovesy Rio, who says he's new to the channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Somebody in the chat says, how dare footballers care about money for doing a job? Wow. I don't think you really understand the point, my friend. So the point I was trying to make is he's on 250k a week now, okay? Chelsea offered him 150k a week plus bonuses. right? He's not worth 250k a week. Not a hope in hell. So it's not like Chelsea were undercutting him. 150 grand a week for Sancho I think, is more than fair. So it's not like Chelsea said, here's 5 grand a week, and he said, but I'm on 250 a week at Man United. I don't want to do that. I understand your point. Everyone should be paid, of course. But, yeah, come on. And you've got to think as well, you're looking at it a little bit short-sighted. If a player plays for a team and does well, they get bonuses. You're not going to get any bonuses at Man United for nearly getting relegated. Like Chelsea, all the Chelsea players will have got a bonus for finishing in the Champions League. Sorry, for winning the Europa League, the Europa Conference League. They would have got bonuses for that. They'll have got bonuses for qualifying for the Champions League. It will mean more sponsorship deals. It will be more brand partnerships. So it's not as simple as you only look at football in how much the club pay you. You've got to look at all the other revenue streams that come from football, the brand deals, the bonuses. So him coming back to Manchester United and rotting in the reserves and collecting his 250k a week versus playing for Chelsea every single week, earning 250k a week, earning 150 grand a week, getting bonuses for goals, assists. It probably would have leveled out about the same, but effectively he was more happy to say, I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to sit on my arse and I'm going to take my 250k a week at the age of 25. If he was 35 and a year away from retirement, I would have said, you know what, fair play to him. He's had a long, good career. Let him have his 250k a week, and go and play golf every day, whatever, But he's not. He's not even in his prime. He's still like technically a young up and coming footballer. So anyway, that was my point on that. Anyway, let's move on from there. Let's talk a little bit about Donnarumma, shall we? So there's a story floating around in the news this morning about Donnarumma from AC Milan. I'm going to do a poll on this. I think this is a good one to get you guys' opinions. So 94% of the people in the channel today want Gyökeres. That's amazing. And big ups to Andy as well, who says, new to the channel, you are doing a great job. Thank you so much for your support. And again, thank you to all the new viewers and obviously the old viewers as well, all the regulars. We are growing, as we always do in the transfer window. Please do make sure you subscribe, everybody. I've just put a link into the chat. We're so close to 42,000 now. So everybody who's watching, please go and subscribe and let's get to the next milestone. So the question now is, would you take Donnarumma at Manchester United? Again, if you're watching this video back on repeat, you won't be able to get involved in the poll. The poll is just for the live show. But what you can do is put your answer to the question in the comments section. So the question is, would you take Donnarumma at Manchester United? We will bring you the news on where this has come from now. Because I can see a couple of people in the chat saying, let's talk about Donnarumma, let's talk about Donnarumma. So it's coming out from quite a few different places, mainly tabloid newspapers, but Sky Sports are also reporting it as well. So let's start off with Sky Sports. So Sky Sports are reporting that Donnarumma is set to hold talks with PSG over a new contract. Now, I want you guys to really focus on that first bit, okay? It says, amid interest from Manchester United and Manchester City, according to reports in France. Now, I don't want to ruin your mornings, but I think that first sentence kind of explains everything here. Donnarumma is set to hold talks with PSG over a new contract after interest from Manchester United and Manchester City. What do you make of that? For me, it's pretty obvious. He wants a new contract. He wants to stay at PSG. And Manchester United's name, Manchester City's name is being used to drive up that price. That's how I see it. Personally, I might be wrong, but that's how I see it. Usually when there's a contract involved, it's a player wanting a bigger pay bracket, But let's just focus on the point here. Would I sign Donnarumma? 100%. Without a shadow of a doubt. I think Donnarumma is world class. He's only 26 years of age. I would take him in a heartbeat. I would literally drive over to Paris and pick him up myself. Phenomenal player. He's everything we need. So yeah, would I take Donnarumma? 1,000,000%. Do I think he'll come to Manchester United? No. And that's actually genuinely disappointing for me to say those words. And I know some people in the chat will probably be watching this thinking, amazing, we're going to get Donnarumma. I just don't see it happening. I could sit here and gloss it and say, guys, we're going to sign Donnarumma. The deal's done, but it's not. It's just far from the reality. The reality of the situation is this. Let me just bring you back down to earth. Donnarumma is a world-class goalkeeper. He's just won the Champions League. He's got 1 year left on his contract. That's the most important bit here. 1 year left on his deal, and PSG want him to sign a new contract. This time next summer, he would be available for free. Okay? He's available for free in 12 months, but there's no real talk of him leaving. The main gossip coming out is new contract talks. So, as always, Manchester United's name is being used to increase his wages. I would put money on the fact that in about a week's time, 2 weeks' time, we'll get a story saying that Donnarumma signed a new contract at PSG. I would be stunned if that doesn't happen. But if we did sign him, I would be absolutely buzzing. He's only on 200k a week as well, which isn't even that bad, is it? How much is Onana on? I don't even want to look. Let's have a look. Andre Onana. This is going to be horrible, I know it. Oh, it's not too bad. Onana's on 120k a week. I mean, that's still... it's still not great, is it? But for some reason, I thought he'd be on more. I thought he was going to be on like 200-300k a week, and I was going to be like, oh my God. Who negotiated that deal? But let me have a little sip of my tea. So yeah, Donnarumma to Manchester United. There's going to be a lot of rumours. There's going to be a lot of rumours going around. But yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, personally. But yeah, 88% of people watching this video would like to see Donnarumma at Manchester United. Wow. That's crazy, isn't it? I mean, I say it's crazy, but when you've got the goalkeeper we've got, are you really surprised? When we have the possibility of signing a goalkeeper like Donnarumma, who would genuinely want to keep Onana? No one. He's just not very good. At all. He's rubbish, realistically. So yeah, Donnarumma to Manchester United, I would say we're going to be linked to him. We're going to hear stories about him. We might hear that, Man United have expressed interest and all the rest of it. I'm sure they have. I'm sure Man United would literally sign Donnarumma in a heartbeat if we could. But the fact of the matter is, he's probably just trying to get a new contract and he'll stay at PSG. So yeah, don't get too excited about that one. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully come the first game of the season, Donnarumma's our new goalkeeper. That would be fantastic, but it's not going to happen, in my opinion. Yeah. Alex says, I'd like to see a new goalkeeper. Yeah, same. I think a new goalkeeper is incredibly important. I said at the... What did I say? I said at the beginning of the transfer window that I think the goalkeeper is actually the second most important position after the striker. I think the striker is the most important and then the goalkeeper. Because it's all good and well, right? You have an attack of Mbeumo, Gyökeres and Cunha. But if your goalkeeper's just making mistakes every game, which he does, I mean, how do we expect to win football matches if we're just conceding goals all the time? Our defence is all right, I think. It's quite solid. You've got Martinez, Aiden Heaven, Lenny Yoro, De Ligt. Who else have we got? Martinez. I'm pretty happy with our centre-backs. I'm pretty happy with, Dorgu, Dallo, Luke Shaw. We've got a lot of centre-backs at the club, So, defensively, I think we're actually all right. We obviously need to get a wing back, but other than that, I think we're not too bad. But it's just the goalkeeper. He's awful. Absolutely awful. People are saying, what is the story on Mbeumo? I've not heard anything new about Mbeumo, sorry. I think we'll sign him. But yeah, we'll see. I haven't heard anything that's saying we're not going to sign him. So we've just got to be patient. As I said, there's no release clause. It's a case of negotiating. So yeah. What else have we got in the chat? Somebody says, don't mention Luke Shaw, how dare you? Yeah, somebody in the chat saying that the story that you're all talking about is from the Mirror, saying that Mbeumo is going to join Spurs. It's not going to happen, I don't think. I mean, I might be wrong, but I think it's unlikely. Unlikely. Right, let's see what else we've got planned for today. We've spoke about Sancho. We're going to talk about the 3 players who will be leaving this summer. So obviously Garnacho is the first one. Fabrizio's obviously said that Garnacho will 100% leave this year. We're waiting to find out where he's going to go. Napoli interested, Chelsea interested in him, Saudi interested in him. Lots and lots of offers, so that's good. Rashford, God knows what's happening with Rashford. Has anybody heard any news about Rashford leaving? I've heard nothing, which is a worry, but it's hardly surprising. It'll probably be another loan, I reckon, with Rashford. Another loan. And then the other one's obviously Jadon Sancho. We spoke about Sancho. Sancho's got offers from lots of different places. Dortmund, Saudi, apparently West Ham are interested. I think for Sancho, it's going to be a case of who's going to pay him the most money, realistically. You know, whoever's going to give him the biggest pay contract will be where he ends up going. So, yes. Let's see what people are saying in the chat. Groovesy says Barcelona is the only place that Rashford wants to go. Yeah. But I don't see them putting in any offers for him, though, you know. It's all good and well Rashford wanting Barcelona, but are we hearing any stories of Barcelona trying to sign him? Yeah, I mean, the stories coming out today are saying that Manchester United might loan him to Barcelona. I mean, why? What would be the logic of loaning Rashford to Barcelona? He is one of our opportunities to actually make some money this summer, and it would be 100% profit on our books. And then we're what? Going to loan him? Why? I don't understand. It just annoys me. Just annoys me how incompetent we still can be. But yeah, it's hardly surprising. Johnny says Ter Stegen is being kicked out of Barcelona. I would take him. I like Ter Stegen. I don't know about his real life drama. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but yeah, I think Ter Stegen's a good goalkeeper. Soham says Barca can't afford Nico Williams or Diaz, so maybe there's some hope of getting Rashford. Yeah. Breaking news says Barcelona still haven't been able to register Dani Olmo. Wow. Is that a joke? Yeah. That's funny though. Yeah, I don't know. With Rashford, it's just a case of waiting, unfortunately. I reckon it will be a loan, to be honest. I can't see it going any other way right now, which is incredibly frustrating, but, you know, what can we really do? Let's see what else is on the feed for today. Yeah, quickly on Osman. Osman apparently is not going to move to Saudi, so make of that what you will. Maybe he ends up coming to Manchester United. Probably not, though. What else was there? I mean, there's nothing really else going on at the moment. There was some interesting comments from Louis van Gaal yesterday, which I wanted to touch on quickly. So Van Gaal was interviewed, I think it was on Sky Sports yesterday, and Van Gaal said again that United is a commercial club, not a football club. And I like that because I don't like what he said, but I agree with him. Manchester United is a commercial club. We know that. It's not a football club anymore. All they care about is brand deals, sponsorships, you know, how many followers on Instagram, all this type of stuff. So it's good that, you know, ex-managers are still saying that about the club. Obviously, I'd rather they didn't. And, you know, we hope that Jim Ratcliffe can turn it round, but at the moment it still does feel a little bit like a commercial club, you know. Soham says, do you think Osman goes to PSG? I mean, it's possible, yeah. As Johnny says, Van Gaal was 100% right. Managers in United do not have transfer power. Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. Some people in the chat saying that we should go for Osimhen. I don't know. I've kind of lost track with this whole thing, you know. I would be happy with Osimhen or Gyökeres. I think either of them would be good. I think my view has always been that Osimhen's wage demands are maybe a little bit too much. That's kind of how I've always seen it, but I would happily take either of them. I think either Gyökeres or Osimhen would massively improve our attack, and that's what we need. So I'm not going to complain if we get either of them. I don't really have a preference. I just think you've got to go for whichever one's going to be the best fit, and most importantly, whichever one the manager wants. That's the most important thing. It doesn't really matter what you or I want. You know, you can say you want Osimhen, and I can say I want Gyökeres, but it's kind of irrelevant. We need what Ruben Amorim wants, and if Amorim wants Osimhen, get Osimhen. If he wants Gyökeres, get Gyökeres. It's as simple as that. Get the manager what he wants. Give him the tools to succeed, opposed to in 12 months us being sat here saying, "Oh, we've just sacked another manager. We didn't back him." You know, that can't happen again because it happens far too often. Just feeling on my head. I think I've been bit by a mosquito. Lovely, nice mosquito bite on the head. Yeah, everyone in the chat saying they think Gyökeres is going to come United. I think so as well. But it's also still good that Osimhen is still there. So if for whatever reason Gyökeres doesn't happen, Osimhen is still an option, which is positive. Cruzy Rio says, do you remember when Louis van Gaal said Louis van Gaal's army in the press conference? He said some funny things. Do you remember when he said squeaky bum time as well? That was funny. I quite like Louis van Gaal. The football was boring, but he's a personality, isn't he? Anyway, I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. Feels like a good point to end today's stream. Thank you so much to everyone who's watched today. Before you leave, please do me a small favour. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up. Doesn't cost you any money. It really helps to show this to other people. So if you give the video a thumbs up on your way out, this will then it will tell YouTube to show it to more people effectively. So please go and do that right now. And be sure to subscribe as well. I've just put a link into the chat. As I said at the beginning of the video, we are on the road to 32,000. We're so close now. So please do subscribe if you are watching for the first time. Have an amazing day, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Obviously, if anything breaks in the day, I will go live. If not, have an amazing Monday, and I'll speak to you all very soon. Bye for now.